After a fantastic opening round for the 2018 Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup here in Australia, Indonesia's Andrew Haryanto took a fantastic victory ahead of some experienced and determined local drivers. Today is round 2, and we get to do it all over again.
After a highly entertaining opening round and opening race of the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup, the cars are on the grid and ready to go racing once again under cloudy skies here in Adelaide, South Australia. It's a very good morning to Sean Henshelwood, and hello wherever you're watching around the world as we get set to go racing again here on this famous street circuit. What a great opening we saw yesterday, Sean, to the season. Looking forward to race number 2.
Number 2 across this beautiful Adelaide Parkland circuit. We've been hanging out for almost 6 months to get here since it was first announced late in the 2017 season, the 6th season of the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. This weekend, it's the start of the 7th season. We saw the 71st race of the Cup yesterday. This is race number 72. And what a great result with Indonesia's Andrew Haryanto, a rookie on this circuit, defeating a number of very experienced Australian campaigners to take the win.
Yeah, Tony Bates started from pole position. We thought he would be the driver to watch out for after dominating the 2 qualifying sessions with Yasser Shaheen as well. But we had a multitude of leaders yesterday, and in the end, Andrew Haryanto, the surprise winner. Just taking a look at the sectors of this amazing little circuit, just 3.2 kilometres, 1.9 miles. You bounce across the curbs at the centre chicane, you go racing through turn 8, such a fast part of the racetrack, and then back around the Parkland circuit in front of the packed grandstands here in Australia. It's going to be a cracking 20-lap race once again, and it's time to enjoy the festivities on the grid with Cameron Van den Dungen.
Thank you very much, Chad and Sean. Conditions very different for race 2. You can see the overcast skies, and I've got Mark Turner with me, series manager, on the grid. What an event to be part of, isn't it, Mark?
Oh, this place is amazing. The crowd, the show that's put on for everyone, this is exactly how motor racing should be.
Now, we saw a wonderful race yesterday under much hotter conditions. There's been some success ballast added. That's part of this championship. Can you take us through how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. The guys that come 1, 2, 3, they have 30 kilos, 20 kilos and 10 kilos added to their cars just to really keep that racing nice and tight so that no one can get away in the championship. So we'll see 3 of the first 4. They've got stickers on the windows to show you how much weight they're running. But yeah, it won't slow them down until the end of the race, but it really hurts those tyres late on.
Well, I better go and have a chat to some of those guys. Thank you very much, and what a wonderful championship you've got. Good luck for the rest of this year.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's have a chat to our pole man. That's Yasser Shaheen. We saw him in 3rd place yesterday. Crew giving him some last-minute instructions and having a chat with him right now. But Yasser Shaheen, great race yesterday. Very different conditions, though. You should be able to hold on to these tyres a little longer today.
Yeah, well, yesterday I didn't even have the good set after torching them in practice, so hopefully today will be a bit better for me.
Now, you've got a little bit of success ballast. How much do you think that'll play a part in this race?
Hopefully not too much, mate.
All right, well, good luck today. We're going to continue back down the grid. Yasser Shahin starting off pole. He was third place in race 1 yesterday. James Kandouris, we know, the brother of Theo Kandouris. He's a very quick man. Had a penalty on his grid for race 1, went back 2 spots. He'll be starting out of position number 4. James Kandouris made a little bit of work to do. These things aren't easy to pass around this street circuit in Adelaide.
No, very difficult to pass here. All the cars are the same, and basically there's some minor changes you can do to setup, so it is very difficult. You really got to wait for someone to make a mistake and be patient.
How different do you think these conditions will make today's race from yesterday? Quite hot yesterday. Today we were overcast and a relatively low ambient. Will it change much up for you?
Yeah, look, it will. These conditions definitely will change grip towards the front, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Australia versus Asia as well. It looks like it's been a relatively good mix with Andrew Haryanto getting up yesterday.
Yeah, Andrew's doing a good job. He's very aggressive, drives well. He's their national champion, I think. It should be a good race.
And is it first you must beat your brother in this one for you as well?
Look, we sort of put that behind us many years ago. We'll have a good go, both of us, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, I'm going to continue down. We're going to have a chat to one of our Asian drivers as well very quickly, Birat Birambati as well. He's come along to be part of this round 1 in Australia. They do go to all parts of the world with this wonderful series. And very quickly, Birat Birambati, we saw you have a wonderful drive yesterday as well. You got much more in you. You're going to take these 4 in front of you?
I'll try my best.
I think we're getting set for a race start. We're not far away. So it's been a bit of fun taking on these Aussies. They might just have the wood on you here today, though.
Yeah, I love the track here, and I think it'll be challenging, and hopefully I can go past them. Really fun.
Well, good luck today.
Thank you very much.
I think we might clear the grid, guys. We're getting set for a race start, and officials are just starting to push me out of the way.
Nice work, Cameron. The festivities down there, great with the roulettes, the Royal Australian Air Force flying above and really getting into the spirit here as we get set for race number 2. Beautiful conditions, Sean, yesterday for the opening race of the championship, and wow, out like a cannon down towards that first corner. Andrew Haryanto, and then aggression from Yasser Shahin. The pole sitter relegated to 4th.
Yeah, Tony Bates had a lot of hard work off the start. He was probably a little bit too gentlemanly. He said he's not going to make the same mistake today. But certainly Andrew Haryanto off the start, round the outside from the 2nd row to lead. He got it a little bit wrong just here. That opened the door for Yasser Shahin, and unfortunately for Yasser, didn't take too long before he got it wrong and opened the door again to let Haryanto through, and he didn't need a second invitation.
Yeah, turn 4 has been tricky this weekend with those bumps and a few drivers running wide on multiple occasions. It cost Shahin the lead. Battle further back, McLaughlin versus Birambati. Birambati playing it cautious down there at the centre chicane. And then the big moment for the pole sitter, Tony Bates. Tried to get the brake pedal, got the accelerator at the same time, speared himself off into the gravel. Wasn't
happy with that at all, and he was on some quick laps. He felt he was actually quicker outright than Yasser Shahin, who set the fastest lap of the opening race. But once he was back in front, Andrew Haryanto was not at all under any pressure, and he just pressed on. This is 2 of the stars of the Asian series over the last couple of years. Sunjik Zhu in the all-blue car, and Jeffrey Lee, the man who has more starts in the Cup than any other, with 69 starts now under his belt. They made contact. That was game over for them. And then this one between Birat Birambati and Steve McLaughlin, a little bit of fault both ways. They weren't penalised as a result of it, but no one could stop Haryanto.
The Indonesian star powering to the opening race win of the championship. And, oh man, had to keep his nerve under some pretty heavy fire after the restart, using those curbs, getting his way to the front. But he'll have to do this one today again from the 2nd row as we go back to the earlier results. So qualifying session number 2, setting the grid for race number 2 and the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. And they're off and rolling now under overcast, cloudy skies here in Adelaide. On the formation lap, we've got 13 of these brilliant GT3 spec Audis and a couple of GT4s to watch out for as well. Yesterday, it was all about the Indonesian driver, Andrew Haryanto. Here he is. He's coming through frame now in car 28. It'll be a different grid. We go back to qualifying order from the 2nd session. It puts Yasser Shahin and Tony Bates on the front row. Bates will be so keen to make amends for yesterday's mistake at turn 5, which cost him any chance of a good result.
very business-like, Yasser Shaheen, in that interview with Cameron on the grid. So I think he's got the eyes on. As he explained, he well and truly torched a set of Pirellis. They weren't as bad as perhaps we'd first thought. A 720 spin in Q1 coming through turn 8. Really got everybody's attention, including his. But fresh set of tyres for the second qualifying session. 2 15-minute sessions, or 2 20-minute sessions rather, set the grid for the 2 30-minute races. And Shaheen showed the potential that he had given us through the 3 practice sessions on Thursday and took the top spot for this race.
First time we've seen this championship in Australia as it joins the undercard here for the Adelaide 500. Tony Bates getting some heat into his Pirelli tyres. Competition so far this weekend has been excellent. And this is how we'll line them up for their second and final race of the weekend. Yasser Shaheen grabbing that pole for the Gemac Pem local team. Tony Bates on that front row. Andrew Haryanto was so strong off row number 2 yesterday. Haven't seen the best of James Kandouris yet. Burrit Birambaki will start out of the inside of row number 3. He's from Thailand alongside a local driver, Theo Kandouris, Jeffrey Lee, Steve McLaughlin, another local, Sun Jing Zhu and Mark Sini round out your top 10. In total, 15 cars, which have been kept in relatively straight and good condition this weekend. All the way back to Chen Kongfu and both Adelaide Fong, who will be driving the GT4 cars. Now, the guys further back in the pack actually need to catch up here and get into double file for the rolling start. And it'll be pretty close here, Sean, if we actually get them.
Yeah, Mark Turner's usually pretty solid on his starts, and it's a long train still coming through the circuit. I can't see that they'll give the guys a start this time around. That's not good. They've been told about this beforehand.
So watch for the red lights. If the lights go out, the race will begin. Will they wave this one off, or will they let them go? Looks like we're racing here in Adelaide. Birambaki goes to the inside and picks off Haryanto as well. No, he does get Kandouris though. And then he runs it wide and over the curb, so Birambaki coming in hot. Haryanto will slot into 3rd. James Kandouris under fire in the 44. Bouncing our way down along towards turn 4, and it's the KFC entry of Tony Bates, who swings into the lead. Didn't get to lead yesterday's race. He's very quick around the streets of Adelaide. Has been in every single car he's driven here in the past. Looking to make amends for yesterday. He assumes the lead here.
Of course, tyre temperature will play a big part. As Shaheen now has another look down the inside. Needs to be very careful there. We've seen a little bit too much contact. Batesy gone a little bit wide. That's probably opened the door. And how about Haryanto? He has been stunning since the first practice session.
Now Bates will need to drop back in, but he'll have another car there if he's not careful. Does Haryanto give him the room? We're right on board with Bates through the scariest corner of the track. And that was good heads-up driving from Andrew Haryanto. Knew that he had to give Tony Bates some room, or there could have been carnage at turn 8. They sort it all out by the time they get to the hairpin under the gum trees at turn 9. Exciting start to the second race of the Audis.
Great start by Sun Jing Zhu in that all-blue entry, just ahead of Jeffrey Lee, the man with 69 starts under his belt. The 2 Kandouris brothers immediately ahead of them. Steve McLaughlin dropping a little bit back now to position number 8. Mark Sini and Mark Williamson in the CTVS Races entry. Coming out of retirement, hasn't raced since 2011 in Macau, to rejoin the Absolute Racing team here this weekend.
Yasser Shaheen made the most of his opportunity at turn 7 and leads the first lap. Tony Bates slots back to 2nd.
We talk about how good Haryanto's been in a big way because of the fact the guys in front of him have so many starts here at the Adelaide Parkland circuit. He is an absolute rookie. His first laps were in practice on Thursday. Found the limit a couple of times, managed to have a couple of lurid spins, keep it off the wall, but has not been fazed nor intimidated by this exciting Adelaide street circuit since he jumped in the car for the first time. And he has been a real sensation, and of course took that victory in round 1 of the 2018 season. And what a prize that'll be. If he can back up this weekend, or this race, take the victory, he will get himself an automatic entry to the 2019 Spa 24-hour race as one of 4 drivers in a factory Audi entry.
That is a serious prize up for grabs. As now Haryanto pours the pressure onto Tony Bates. They're actually equal on points for the weekend at the moment, Shaheen and Haryanto. So Haryanto will be keen to get that one more spot and put it out of doubt.
Shaheen very impressive, up by almost 2 seconds now on this battle for second between Bates and Haryanto. I think Haryanto's keen to try and find a way past Tony, but he said to me just before this race, he said, you'll see a very different Tony Bates behind the wheel today. I'm not messing around. I want to take back that victory. Of course, up until yesterday's race, his last 4 races had netted 4 victories. to the man from Victoria.
It's usually bulletproof, particularly on street circuits. Very much here. Here's a bit of play action for position number 3. Theo Kandouris shows the nose of the Superbarn Audi. His intentions very clear, but Haryanto did not blink down at turn 4. They resume in their positions. James Kandouris now tucked in behind his brother with Burrit Birambakti and Sun Jin Zhu in this battle as well. They're all scrapping over the last spot on the podium.
We've talked a lot about Andrew Haryanto and how good he has been with that victory yesterday, but of course Burrit Birambakti, the 59 car, the third of these cars in line, immediately ahead of the all-blue Sun Jin Zhu entry, is the reigning Audi R8 LMS Cup and Cup champion, the Thai driver. Relatively inexperienced in GT competition, only been competing for 3 or 4 years, a lot of that competition at home in the Thailand Super Series. Stepped into the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup in 2017 and took that AM Cup victory. Didn't complete a full season, so he's still very much a rookie behind the wheel of an Audi R8. But how good is this championship? How consistent, how close are all of these drivers? And he's right in the battle.
It's a frantic opening 3 laps to the second and final race on the streets of Adelaide. It looked like potentially one moment we might not get a start as we check out the replays of the start sequence here, but they just managed to pull it together in time. How deep did Kandouris go under brakes as he passed his brother down towards turn 1? Birambakti also went late under brakes and ran wide.
This is on board with Haryanto. See from the second row, started P3, just moved across enough to keep the Kandouris brothers off. Theo, in fact, looked like he might have locked the brake. See that 30 kilo sign on the right side of the windscreen? He's got that success ballast as virtue of winning the race yesterday. It's a beautiful slow-mo move. The camera, you can see, not so beautiful for Burrit Birambakti. Very stadium truck-esque. Doesn't want to do too much of that, but the Audis, again, we've talked about this a number of times, good curb compliance, and he was able to gather it all back up and jump back in line.
So Bates ran it high over the curbs.
Oh, this is on.
And this is exactly how the lead swapped.
Yep.
So Haryanto was really kind here to Tony Bates, was thinking about a move at turn 8. That is just not the place to do it. That is 200 kilometres per hour. He had to slot back in behind him. From Bates' point of view, what a bad exit, left himself vulnerable.
Yeah, and that's all Yasser Shahin needed. We've seen his pace this weekend from open practice has been very, very good. He's improved with almost every run. Of course, that double spin in Q1, he backed that up in pole position for race 2 to start this race. So he leads the gap out to a second. Well, it's been closed down to a second. Haryanto now 2.3 back. So he's dropped back off the tail of Tony Bates and is going to come under fire from the Kandouris brothers, led by Theo in the 69 entry on screen here. Ahead of James Kandouris and Burrit Birambakti right on their tail, still doing a very, very good job.
James Kandouris' pace during the practice sessions was really impressive. It's almost surprising that we've not seen him actually in the top 2 spots in the races this weekend. Was due to start on the front row for race 1, but got a 2-place grid penalty for a practice incident with Yasser Shahin, which has put his weekend on the back foot straight away. Shahin setting the quickest opening sector here of this lap number 5, and extending that lead over Tony Bates to be 1.4 seconds.
I'm keeping a close eye on this battle between the man on screen, Sun Jin Zhu, and the man immediately behind him, Jeffrey Lee, in the Audi career entry. Audi Taiwan entry, rather. They made contact yesterday, battling for position. These two guys battled hard during the 2017 Cup season, and they will be hoping to be able to complete this one. Jeffrey Lee, during qualifying yesterday, a veteran of this series, the most starts of any driver in the field, a 2-time AM Cup champion in this event over the 6 prior seasons. He was really hard in qualifying too. Got himself up to position 5 at one stage before we completed that 20-minute session. He really did do a great job, so he'd like to complete this. He's enjoying the circuit. He was a little freaked out in the first session, admitting that in the bright sunshine, which of course we're used to in Asia, but the shadows cast across the circuit, he said it really threw him out. Since that point, though, he's been very, very competitive. So Yasser Shahin, Tony Bates, Andrew Haryanto, Theo Kandouris, James Kandouris, Burrit Birambakti position 6, Sun Jin Zhu position 7 from Jeffrey Lee, Steve McLaughlin, Mark Seaney, Mark Williamson and Daniel Bilski, the 2 Australians, back a little bit further than we would have expected. Young Ji, very new to this series. Then it's Adelie Fong and Frankie Chung in the 2 GT4 entries. We spoke a little bit about this during the course of the weekend. The Cup over the previous 6 seasons has been very much a Pro-Am style series. Here are the 2 GT4 cars on screen. That is Adelie Fong in the lead car, Frankie Chung in the second. Adelie is in fact the 2013 Cup champion for the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. Frankie Chung, a multiple winner, 4-time winner, a former DTM and Le Mans driver. Of course, a lot of experience between these two in the Cup. They are running as part of a feature race with the GT4s this weekend. The full GT4 championship in the Cup will not begin until Nürburgring, the second event of the season, as Frankie now goes up the inside. I think Adelie wants somebody to play with. Of course, Adelie Fong has been in America in the last couple of seasons in the Pirelli World Challenge and is an outright winner at Road America, so a very experienced campaigner. Also tested a Sauber F1 car at one stage, and there was some hope that he may be one of the first Hong Kong drivers into F1. Didn't quite happen, but a very competitive driver. They're also here because the 2018 Cup Series is very much a bronze-rated driver championship, whereas in the past it has been a Pro-Am. We've had drivers like Alex Young, who has experience in Australia, former teammate to Mark Webber in F1, and of course he's a 3-time Cup champion. They're not involved in the series anymore outside of a mentoring role. So it is very much about the privateer entries, the bronze FIA-rated drivers, or the gentleman drivers as we call them, and they will be advised and mentored by these experienced campaigners. And what better way to mentor someone around a circuit you've never seen before than jump behind the wheel of the GT4 and work out how that circuit works. The other thing with the Cup this year is it's open data policy. So whatever car is running data at Sunjing's, it's all come undone again, unfortunately. They can compare data to improve the times of the other drivers. That's not good. Let's hope he can get going again and carry on.
Pretty easy to see where he has been over that curb and backwards into the Cooper's tyre wall.
Let's take a look. Did he go in too hard, or Jeffrey? Oh, Jeffrey's just tagged the back of him. So these two have come together again like magnets. They found each other again in season 2018, as they did in 2017 on a number of occasions. And for two absolute racing drivers, that is contact. Now, hopefully, Sun Jing Zhu can recover that vehicle, get it started, and return to pit lane. Otherwise, we may well be under safety car. Nothing like that at the moment as Tony Bates starts to reel in pole sitter Yasser Shahin. Harrianto dropping a little bit further back. James Konduras, the man who set the place alight. There's damage to the right rear. That's not going anywhere. That's unfortunate. It'll be interesting to see where that is and how that happened. But he was the pace sitter all through Thursday practice, and certainly the man we expected to see at the front of this field.
Potentially turn 4 would be my guess there, looking at where that car was positioned. And it could bring out the beautiful Audi R8 safety car for the first time, and there go flags and boards. So safety car deployed here in Adelaide. We saw it out once yesterday. And Yasser Shahin will just have to cool his heels for a moment. The flag is here in Adelaide doing a fantastic job keeping the competitors and the rest of the officials safe. And yes, turn 4 is the answer. And that's gone in quite heavily if it's broken the right rear.
Did he fall or was he pushed?
That's the question right now. It's very bumpy down there. Let's see if we can dissect what's happened to James Konduras. Oh, he was helped.
Yeah, that's Bird Birnbachti. Unfortunately, Bird came together with Steve McLaughlin. I think, was it there yesterday? Was it turn 7?
Turn 7, yeah.
Turn 7 yesterday. Now, it wasn't a deliberate move. It's very tight here. And as Steve McLaughlin said to me last night, he said, look, Sean, the move wasn't really on, but without the experience of the circuit here in Adelaide, he may not have realised it's a closing corner. There isn't really room to go through there too wide. He said, I was offline. I would have put the nose up the inside too, but probably would have backed out. Not the experience for Bird Birnbachti. They made contact. There was no penalty, but it certainly shortened Steve McLaughlin's race a little and forced him to run through from the back of the field. But by the look of the right rear of the Super Barn Audi, I don't think that's going anywhere. That will need to be recovered.
And again, we see one of the favourites for the weekend out and a safety car on track. Yesterday it was Tony Bates. Today it's James Konduras, and those two drivers have been the quickest in terms of lap time so far this weekend. How nice is the R8 LMS Cup safety car? And we talk about the prize pool that's up for grabs in this championship. Well, there's no greater prize than what is bestowed upon the winner of this championship. After 10 races, whoever's highest on points gets an Audi R8. That is just brilliant. What a great prize.
Well, they may get a second Audi R8 because I know a number of these drivers, certainly the regulars in the Cup, do have Audi R8s tucked away in the garage, amongst other things, Hummers probably included. But
there's only one thing better than owning an Audi R8, and that's owning 2 Audi R8s.
Well, absolutely.
And the race car as well.
And the race car. but certainly that is the prize. And again, the winner of Australia this weekend, the winner of the next event at the Nürburgring circuit in early May, the winner of the 2 races in China will go to the new Ningbo circuit, which is not far from Shanghai. We also go to Shanghai International Circuit, the home of the Chinese Formula 1 Grand Prix, of course. And we finish the season in November at Sepang in Malaysia. So 4 winners from those 4 races, or those 4 rounds effectively, or country races, will form the team for Audi Sport Customer Racing Asia, I'm assuming, in the 2019 Nürburgring event.
I think I saw you over there, Sean, earlier, enjoying the off-track entertainment. Plenty to do here at the Adelaide 500 as the officials get out there and pick up the very expensive pieces of carbon fibre that are lying around this Adelaide Parkland circuit. The big winner from the safety car has to be Jingzhou, because he would have been fallen quite a long way off the pack when he got turned around down there at turn 11, and now he gets to catch up and go back to battle in position number 12. So that would have saved him a good 20 seconds of road where he was a long way off the pack.
Important thing is he did get going. Of course, the victory for those 4 drivers will, of course, be the Spa 24-hour race. We will, in fact, be at the Nürburgring 24-hour race as a support category for the second event of this season in May this year.
Also, race control confirming that these incidents are to be investigated post-race. So we won't see any drive-through penalties, at least for the incidents that we've seen so far. And I'm pretty sure James is just letting Burrett know exactly how he felt about being stuffed into the fence there. International symbol for I'm not overly impressed.
Yes, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's a tight circuit. These things happen. How often do we see that? And it looks very much like he's stuck on the circuit, trying not to do too much damage to the circuit nor the car.
Yeah,
but
more
certainly
importantly,
they do need to remove him from the circuit so we can carry on and complete the remaining 10 laps.
The rear wedge, it's like the wing has wedged itself in there at the moment. And they also need to try and repair that fence back together so it's in good working condition. Great work from all our officials down there. Volunteers, some of them as well, to get us back to, hopefully, green flag conditions. Quite a cool day here in Adelaide compared to what we've seen in the past. We've had some absolute, oh man, some scorches in the past would be the word for it, 40 degrees plus, but today just 21 degrees. So for some of our Asian visitors, that'd be almost quite cold, almost jumper weather for someone like Burrett Murabakti all the way down from Thailand. Yesterday, Andrew Haryanto winning yesterday's race, 30-degree conditions, just about didn't have a bead of sweat on him.
Fresh.
It's from Indonesia, so hot, humid conditions, no problem for him.
I had to laugh earlier when James Kanduris was suggesting that Andrew Haryanto was a champion in his own country. Andrew Haryanto has pointed out a number of times this weekend he's not, in fact, related to former Formula 1 driver Rio Haryanto. And he said, look, I'd probably bring his reputation down. I'm not so sure after the way Andrew Haryanto has driven this weekend, but he is a winner in Lamborghini Super Trofeo in the Middle East in the AM division, and he also did some races in the AM division in the 2017 Blancpain GT Series Asia. So has experience, but it's relatively limited, especially considering drivers like James Kanduris, Mark Sini and Tony Bates around this Adelaide Parkland circuit.
There's a look inside the bunker for race control. The Brains Trust behind the event in the middle. It's James Taylor right at the end of the screen, and he has in front of him access to multiple cameras, including closed-circuit television, timing screens, has track maps where he can see where different drivers are on course and can control the field with the safety car when he sees fit.
The grey-haired gentleman just off the middle of the front row, Tony Scott Andrews, who is an FIA steward, and he has officiated a number of Formula 1 events around the world. He's a regular with the British touring cars, has been with the Cup for a number of seasons, so it keeps the consistency in the delivery of rules. And he's found a couple of times during the course of this weekend that the way they've delivered the rules with the Cup over the last 6 seasons is not always necessarily the way things are done in Australia. So it has caused a couple of terse words back up in the steward's office, but it's all about making sure this championship is consistent. The cars are consistent. As you can see, they're all identical. This is Audi's first one-make championship. They did do a TT championship for some of the young stars in Europe in past years, but certainly the longest running and the only one-make GT3 specification category in the world at present. So it's all about the brand and all about making sure that all these cars are as even as possible. That's why we have mentors. That's why we have cars that are maintained by service teams like Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia's Melbourne Performance Centre, and certainly the team that have been with them right from the very start, and that, of course, is Absolute Racing based in Asia. A very big part of the development of the Audi brand in that part of the world. Joe Mader and Fabian Fiore in pit lane, keeping a close eye on their crew. And most of the crew that are here this weekend circle the world with this series and have done for a number of years. So you've got that consistency in repairing the cars, making sure they're prepared. And with Control Pirelli tyres, everything is designed about making sure the experience for the drivers is matched as closely as possible.
Safety car light should be going out this lap, which means safety car will return to pit lane. And then it's up to Yasser Shaheen to get the race going once again. There's unfortunately a few parts of these beautiful Audis strewn around the circuit. James Konduras out of this race as we get set to go back to green flag running. That one down at turn 13, thankfully off the racing line. Here we go, time to get back to green flag conditions here in Adelaide, South Australia. Race 2 of the championship. Shaheen all the way to the exit curb. Foot firmly planted into the bucket as he gets the V10 engine up to revs and up to speed. Down towards the famous centre chicane with the big curbs. He hops across the turn 2 curb. With Tony Bates and Andrew Harrianto in close pursuit.
Very different approach from Yasser Shaheen. Under fire now from Tony Bates down turn 4. He's going to take the position away and lead this race as he threatened prior to the start. And he's got back to the front. Of course, the pole sitter from the opening qualifying session yesterday didn't work out so well in race 1, but he's made amends for that and leads this race with about 8 laps to go.
Now that was premeditated. That was absolutely a plan coming into the restart. He would have been thinking about that, get a good run through the chicane, carry the momentum, and launch one down the inside across the bumps at the entrance to turn 4. It is a great passing opportunity, but you need to be committed. The fans at turn 8 enjoying the action as the Audis whiz by at 200 kilometres per hour.
Again, talking about that restart approach from Yasser Shaheen, he grouped the field up and very slowly came through the final corner and nailed the throttle. In stark contrast to what Andrew Harrianto did yesterday. He said as soon as the lights went out in the safety car, he'd gone. and in the Asian series, they said the rules are you've got to maintain the speed up until you get near the start-finish line.
Here's the move for the lead once again from a long way back, but committed early. There was nothing Shaheen could do about that one. And the bend, Audi R8 is relegated back to second. If you're wondering what the bend is, that's the new circuit that's opening up about 90 minutes away from where we're standing right now. On board with Bates, this is how he pulled that move off. Made his intentions known. Shaheen choosing not to defend. Bates relying on the the ABS, I should say. And gets that one pulled up down there at turn 4. Great move.
I noticed on one of the replays that coming through turn 3, there was a little bit of tyre smoke. It may have been the right front of Burak Birambaki because he made contact with James Konduras. That was the reason we had the safety car intervention. So whether he has a little bit of damage to the right front, he needs to be careful. The team will be monitoring that. And we'll just see how that one plays out. But certainly, Andrew Harrianto had worked out prior to the restart yesterday what the actual rules were. They're different to the Asian rules that we're used to. He was all across it and he just hammered as soon as the lights went out in the safety car and disappeared off into the distance. This time Shaheen took a different approach, and you'd have to say Harrianto's approach was perhaps the more stout option. On board with the race leader, Tony Bates, comes through the final sector of this lap. As we say, he's a multiple race winner here. Was winner of the Australian GT round here 12 months ago, and he knows the right way to get around the Adelaide Parkland circuit, and he really wants to make amends for that off yesterday, the drama he had, own goal by his own admission. So he will be looking to try and take the victory because he wants that Audi R8 road car. He's already told me that. And he wants a seat in the Spa 24-hour race next year. So if it's all over for him from this weekend, you'd expect to see the Australian driver in the Nürburgring round in early May as we fire off rounds 3 and 4 of the 2018 Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup.
Such a violent, bumpy part of the racetrack, Sector 1. You can just see the speed climbing on the dash as well. Over 200 kilometres an hour now. Here comes turn 8, 200, just about keeping it at 200 clicks through there. Concrete walls either side. You have to be committed. Trust in the technology, and he's didn't cop a shot in the right rear then? Or was that just the car? Yes, there is. Yasser Shaheen, and they'll go side by side, almost a bump and run.
And look who's closing in behind him. It's a three-way battle for the lead.
That was awesome. That gave you a true perspective as to what it's like when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an attack comes. And now it's on. It's a fight for the lead of this race. Haryanto's involved. Good scrap coming here. Parts falling off these race cars as they say, right, it's the end of the weekend. The gloves are off. Let's go at it.
Theo Konduras and Birambaki closing into the top 5, covered by just 2 seconds that time around. So this is right on. 6 laps remaining. And what a great way to start our first visit to Australia in the Adelaide circuit.
Haryanto going defensive. He had a really slow run down towards turn 4. Just covers the inside line. Big crack of oversteer at the apex. He gathers it back up. He's under fire from Theo Konduras. And again, the rear tyres, they're crying for mercy as he slips up again. So a couple of street fights here starting to form. One at the front between Bates and Shaheen. Another one between Haryanto and Konduras. Birambaki out the back of this battle. Good stuff in the Audis.
On board with Haryanto, watching this move up front.
He would have been thinking, come on, boys.
Well, whilst Tony Bates said, I'm going to make amends for what happened in race 1, I think Yasser Shaheen wants to make amends for having taken pole position and lost it with the damage on the front of the J-Mac PEM entry as they head into the corner. Just watch this contact, under brakes, bit too deep.
The braking's maximised at that point as well, Sean. You're relying on the ABS to just get the job done. Look at the parts stripping away. And that piece of grille actually came off eventually at turn 14. It stayed there for a few corners. Spectacular action. And Bates holding his nerve, and he's woken up. He just hit the fastest lap of the race. I think that was the kick that he needed. He's definitely come to play now. He said, right, I'm not going to let you do that again. I'm just going to check out of here. Second last lap will go time certain. Birambaki's, oh man, watching this battle unfold ahead with Theo Konduras and Andrew Haryanto fighting for it. Man, it's happening now between 3 different countries. Indonesia, Australia, Thailand fighting for P3.
Steve McLaughlin behind this lot in the second of the J-Mac PEM entries because he's the J-Mac PEM Racing team boss. Melbourne Performance Centre into position 6. Mark Williamson, a good shout out to the CDVS Races entry. We've not seen much of him. Come out of retirement after not racing since 2011 to be back in the car. He'll be very happy with position number 7. Jeffrey Lee back to position 8. Potentially a penalty as a result of that contact with Sunjing Zhu. Daniel Bilski, the Australian, the former AM Cup and Masters Cup champion, in position 9. Mark Sini, very busy man this weekend, also running in Carrera Cup. This is like event number 20, I think, in his career at the Adelaide circuit, in position number 10.
The last lap next time by. Haryanto using plenty of the road. I'm not sure if he's defending or he's just trying to get a look at the competition behind him. Theo Konduras in the middle of the Superbarn Audi and Birambaki chasing them as the race leader again goes quicker. 1:21.4, new lap record. Tony Bates last time by. He is up the ante.
When you consider these are bronze class FIA drivers, yes, they have experience. Yes, Tony Bates is a former winner of Australian GT around. He has run things like the Development Series, V8 Utes and Carrera Cup. Still, a 1:21.4, Chad, is a very, very impressive lap time. These are very fast cars, full-spec GT3 cars. The early seasons of the Cup were lower generation cars, of course, generation or Series 1 Audi R8 LMS Cup entries, as opposed to this is the Generation 2 car, very much designed with customer racing in mind, but very fast cars. 1:21.4 for Tony Bates, and the bulk of the field is still in the 122s.
Shaheen went with him. They both were in the 121s last time by. The only 2 drivers to have turned 21s in race action. The track is quick with the grey skies above. Last lap, last few corners. The Audis putting on a show in Australia for the first time. Still on a turn 9, not the way you want to finish the weekend.
Sunjing Zhu and Daniel Bilski now coming
second
together.
hand. Meanwhile, it's Tony Bates who will reign supreme in race number 2. A flash of the headlights, got the job done off the front row. Great scrap with Yasser Shaheen. And Haryanto holds on for 3rd and the round win. So he's booked himself a ticket to Belgium for the 2019 Spa 24-hour race. Congratulations, Andrew Haryanto. And that is very impressive given, I guess you could say, the calibre of the local drivers and the experience of some of the local stars here. Gee, it all happened at the last lap.
Uh-oh.
Oh, big move down the inside.
Oh, dear.
And that was Williamson getting turned around. Now it was a double crash. The encore for the Audis this weekend down at turn 9.
They'd been flawless for, 6 sessions, and it all came undone in the last lap of the final laps here in the maiden event for the Cup in Australia.
So it's Bates who gets the win. Cleared out nearly 2 seconds over the local driver, Yasser Shahin. Andrew Haryanto third for the race, but first for the round. Congratulations to the Indonesian driver. Theo Kondouris beats home Burit Birimbaki. Steve McLaughlin went about his business, drove a clean race to finish in P6. Also, Mark Cassini, we've seen him out in Carrera Cup this weekend. He finishes inside the top 10 ahead of Young Ji. Chen Kong Fu will win the GT4 battle. And unfortunately for James Kondouris, a DNF in the second race of the year. Entertaining stuff in the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. Let's relive it.
It was a great start for Tony Bates off pole position. Yasser Shahin was pretty good too, but this is on board with Andrew Haryanto, carrying the 30 kilos of success ballast from his victory yesterday. Conditions a lot cooler today. Didn't have the bright blue sky or the heat, and then it was on. Yasser Shahin, he wanted the lead, caught Batesy napping a little, took the position, but it was back on again shortly after. Haryanto in a watching brief in position 3, closely followed by the Kondouris brothers, and behind them, Burit Birimbaki. This contact between a couple of old foes, Sun Jing-Zhu in the all-blue entry, and Jeffrey Lee, the man with more starts in the series than any other. Damage to the J-Fly Audi Taiwan entry, and then this contact put James Kondouris out at turn 4. That was Burit Birimbaki. Damage you can see to the right rear of Kondouris' car. Safety car, recovery vehicle. And then game on again. Batesy straight back through to take the lead up the inside of Shahin on the colder tyres. And he was back off into the lead. Shahin then wanted it back down to turn 9. Contact. Forced his way alongside, but Batesy then, he got a bit of a hurry up. He had the motivation after that. Smashed out a couple of lap record pace laps, and then this contact in the dying stages of the final lap saw a number of the series regulars from the last couple of seasons making contact. Up front though, Tony Bates, he said he'd do it. He's taken victory in race 2.
Making amends for yesterday's mistake, Tony Bates comes out firing and wins the second race of 10 for this championship, beating home Yasser Shahin and Andrew Haryanto. But it's Andrew Haryanto who will take the round honours and the free ticket over to Spa. The Audi's highly entertaining here in Adelaide. Down in pit lane, we'll be not too far away from joining the action. From here, the championship heads over to Germany. We'll have 3 rounds in China, and then the season will conclude in Malaysia. Travel to some of the finer circuits anywhere in the world when you can say you're taking in places like Sepang, the Nürburgring, the Adelaide Parkland circuit.
Very much a season we've been looking forward to, certainly for me. 4 seasons now with the Cup. As an English commentator, I did explain I don't speak English. I'm an Australian commentator. They were happy with that. And we, of course, start here. What better place? First time I can actually drive to an event. And off to Germany. The Nürburgring is a great venue. It's certainly a long history with Audi at the Nordschleife. So there's Martin Kuhl, the director of Audi Sport Customer Racing Asia, congratulating his race winner. And we hope to see Tony Bates over there at Nürburgring and try to make amends for missing that seat at Spa. He proved he could do it. He had pole. He took a victory. Unfortunately, yesterday, that slight error saw him into the gravel trap and retirement. So he's every bit the man capable of taking this fight to the Asians and to the other drivers in the series as we head to Nürburgring in May.
Today's action not just beamed live around Australia, but also internationally, particularly into China. And if anyone's wondering, this is a beautiful part of Australia to come visit, famous for its food, particularly for its wine as well. A little area known as the Barossa Valley, not too far from where we're standing and racing here today. Very popular for tourism, and plenty of people enjoying the action here for the Adelaide 500. It's also the opening round of the Australian Supercars, the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship, and they'll be taking their second race of the championship later today. So for the Audis, it's definitely one of the biggest events on the Australian motorsport calendar that you can really be a part of. But Adelaide, a fabulous city to come and visit, and particularly this weekend because they've got the Fringe Festival on downtown. So much action, plenty of on-track action as well with the stunt riders here enjoying the show. So we're not too far away from handing out some trophies and spraying some champagne. Let's join Cameron Vanderdungen.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the Podium Awards ceremony for round 2 of the 2018 Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. Third place in the GT3 Cup category goes to Andrew Haryanto from Team Pro Max Team. Second place is Yasser Shahin from Team J-Mac Pem Racing. And first in the GT3 Cup, Tony Bates from Team Tony Bates Racing. Congratulations to all the drivers. Now may I invite Hitaf Rashid, Executive Director of Government of South Australia, to present the prize to the winner of GT3 Cup. Next, let's welcome Zhao Xingtong, movie actress and ambassador of Team Triple X. Now let's welcome Marco Mercuri, National Sales Manager, Automotive of Castrol, Australia, to present the prize to the third place driver. Finally, the winner of the Pirelli Best Lap is Tony Bates from Team Tony Bates Racing. May I invite Simon Poole, Technical Director of Pirelli Group, to present the Pirelli Best Lap Trophy to the winner. Congratulations to all the podium places of the 2018 Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. Time for the champagne.
Thank you, Cameron, and thanks for watching the opening 2 races of the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup live from South Australia. We'll hopefully see you back here next year.
Thank you for joining us for what has been an amazing weekend here in Australia for the first event of the 2018 Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup. Make sure you stay with us all season for what promises to be an exciting year. Next up, the Cup moves to another new venue with the first event on the famous Nürburgring circuit in Germany. But for now, sign up from Australia.